fact, you're right. It took a mere 9 years for them to go from obscurity to having seats in parliament. You also make the point about how internet penetration, in places like North Korea or Africa was minimal, and that you're right. Access to the internet began to increase in Africa in 2014. Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter made inroads in sub-Saharan Africa starting in 2015. And as they did, the level of conflict began to rise. So now let's look here specifically at the United States.
Yeah.
Are we already experiencing a modern civil war, given all the factors that we've been talking about now for the last 20 minutes?
Yeah. Yeah. So in the book, I talk about how the next civil war will not look like the first civil war, and I do think one of the reasons why most people thought that this could never happen again here is because they were thinking about the 1860s. They're thinking that it's going to be two large armies meeting on a battlefield, wearing uniforms. It's going to be, a whole series of states that will have to be agree that secession is the way to go. And that is not what it's going to look like at all. And in fact, that's not what most modern civil wars look like, especially when they're directed at really powerful governments with powerful militaries, like the United States or like Israel or like the United Kingdom. You're not going to see another big conventional war in these countries. What you are going to see, and what I think would happen here in the United States, would be an insurgency. So insurgencies tend to be decentralized. They tend to be fought by multiple different factions, paramilitary groups. Sometimes they're working together, sometimes they're competing with each other, and they're using unconventional tactics, predominantly domestic terror, directed at civilians, directed at minority groups, directed at civil servants, directed at the police, anybody who is not sympathetic to their cause. They are not going to engage U.S. soldiers if they can avoid it. So that's the type of civil war we're likely to see. And go ahead if you want to.